Welcome back to the channel. I was recently tagged again by my buddy Eric over at the Embalming channel to do an EDC video. He reminded me that it had been almost 3 years since I did my last one. Eric was tagged by Gunwild1 and he was tagged by somebody else. So you see how this sort of thing works. If you like EDC videos, I'll leave links to their channels down below. At this point in my life, I find that I'm becoming a bit of a minimalist. Just the basics for me these days, thank you. My wife, on the other hand, seems to be going in the opposite direction. By definition, her purse has now reached the level considered by most prepping experts to be a doomsday level bug out bag. Granted, a good portion of that stuff is mine, but she's a real trooper when it comes down to taking care of me. Since she also carries a firearm, that also puts me in the position of having a full-time bodyguard. Trust me, you should be so lucky. Nevertheless, here are the items I've deemed essential for my everyday carry. First off, I carry a wallet containing the usual driver's license, debit card, and such. Since retiring, I've discovered that the debit card is strictly for covert use while not being directly supervised. At my age, I suppose I'm fortunate enough to still need to carry a pocket comb. I attribute still having a full head of hair to something I learned early on as a kid. And that is, never let your mother brush her hair while she's mad at your dad. Something else I do carry is a money clip, tucked away in a place that no decent person would ever think to look. Should I happen to get robbed or lose my wallet, I still have a little cash to get by on. Over the years, I've been reluctant to carry a cell phone. Never really liked them. But like I said, things evolve, including technology. My wife recently had our dog chipped and neutered because he kept wandering off. A few days later, she handed me this new cell phone, saying that she'd feel better knowing where I was in case something happened. You know, after seeing what happened to our dog, I accepted the cell phone rather than share his fate. I also carry keys. I'm down to just a few these days, mostly vehicle keys and a house key. You know, is it just me, but when did everything with a lock on it suddenly need a PIN code? Or some silly card to swipe across it? Voice recognition? Really? Or some other crap that needs your fingerprint before you can open it? Seriously, whatever happened to using a simple key? I do carry a pocket knife. Lots of really good ones out there these days, but I've always favored traditional style knives, like this German-made Puma. Puma has been making high-quality folders like these since the late 1700s. If you're someone who appreciates old-world craftsmanship, buy yourself a Puma. It'll be money well spent. I do carry a lighter, one of these disposable butane marvels. For years I carried a classic Zippo. Nothing quite like overfilling a Zippo with lighter fluid and slipping it into your front pants pocket, only to have it leak all over the twins. I'm pretty sure that's how breakdancing first got started. I also carry a couple of these with me. My wife refers to them as dog rockets. Trust me, I have very few vices these days, but this is something I occasionally enjoy. I do carry this tool to snip the ends off to get them to draft properly. Kind of looks like something they'd use to circumcise a newborn male, doesn't it? You know, I'm convinced that doctors prefer to do this at birth only because a newborn doesn't have a clue how to go about pressing charges. Lastly, I do carry a handgun. My favorite as of late is my Dan Wesson Valor V-Bob. Depending on what my plans are for the day, determines whether I'll carry outside the waistband or concealed. I prefer spending as much time as I can in the field. There's where I prefer an outside the waistband holster. If coerced to go into town, I'll swap to an inside the waistband holster for concealments. That's just the way I prefer doing things. Well, that pretty much covers what I carry with me on a daily basis, but I do find a lot of entertainment value in seeing what other people carry for their EDC. To keep this tag rolling, I'd like to tag the Crazy Scotsman. He's bound to have some interesting things stashed inside his pockets. Just my closing observation, if you're toting around a backpack chock full of stuff you think are essential everyday carry items, you're probably homeless. Until next time, Practice often, shoot straight, and thanks for stopping by.